How's it going, my peeps? It is now time for the Raw results / highlights and review video. I'll go over the Raw results, some of the highlights, and give you guys my thoughts on the overall show. So it all kicks off with Vince McMahon coming out for the fight with Paul Heyman, and Vince McMahon is still in crutches. So he calls out Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman comes out, and Paul Heyman says he's been winning this for a long time to take out Vince McMahon. He tackles Vince McMahon, hits him with one of the crutches, but then Vince McMahon grabs the other crutch and hits Paul Heyman with it like twice, so Paul Heyman gets knocked down. And then Brock Lesnar's music hits, so he comes out, and it looks like he's about to attack Vince McMahon once again, but Triple H music hits this time, so he comes out, and before he even gets to the ring, Brock Lesnar gets out, starts fighting with Triple H all over the place. They throw each other on the barricade. Also, Triple H shoves Brock Lesnar onto the steel post. And then you have Triple H clotheslining Brock Lesnar over that barricade that everybody gets speared through. So he clotheslines him over that. And then once Brock Lesnar gets up, he's freaking busted open like really bad, like really, it's all over like one side of his face and his chest. Anyways, afterwards, Brock Lesnar, it looks like he was about to hit an F5 on Triple H on the announcer's table, but he actually hit like something more, it looked more like an AA than an F5. And then Lesnar throws Triple H back in the ring, looks for a weapon. In the beginning, it looked like he was about to grab the crutch and use that as a weapon, but instead he grabs a steel chair, goes back in the ring, and looks like he's about to hit Triple H with the chair. Triple H counters it into a spinebuster, grabs the chair, hits Lesnar with it. Lesnar gets out of the ring, and that's pretty much it for the segment. Triple H stands tall inside the ring as his music hits. So the whole Brock Lesnar Triple H thing, I was right. I predicted it in the Raw preview. I said I thought the Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon fight is going to turn into Triple H and Brock Lesnar fighting and making the returns. Anyways, afterwards, they had Dolph Ziggler versus Ryback, and it was probably the longest Ryback match not involving CM Punk or The Shield. You had Dolph Ziggler at one point locking on the sleeper hold, and Ryback countered that into the back stunner, which I haven't seen him do it in a couple of weeks or months or so, I'm not too sure. Anyways, towards the end, AJ got on the apron to try and interfere. That didn't work. Big E got on the apron too, but Ryback clotheslined him, and then Dolph tried to hit the zigzag, but Ryback held on to the ropes and then hit the shell shock for the 1, 2, 3, so Ryback wins the matchup. And then CM Punk comes down for a promo on the match tonight. He says the match tonight, it's not even a match, it's not about John Cena, it's not about the people, it's not about The Rock, it's not about John Cena. Did I say John Cena? I'm not too sure, but pretty much it's all about CM Punk, and that he's the best in the world, and he's been John Cena before when it mattered. He's been The Rock, he says he pinned The Rock twice in 4 weeks, and then he says he's not only the best in the world, but he's God. And then he drops the microphone, and that's it for his promo. And then they announced the latest Hall of Fame 2013 inductee, and it's Donald Trump, so they play a video package of Donald Trump. And then Mark Henry faced off against the great Khali. Really short match. Mark Henry hits the world's strongest slam, gets the big 3. Afterwards, they show a clip of the Marine 3 with The Miz in it. And then The Miz comes out for Miz TV with special guests Del Rio, Jack Swagger, and Zeb Colter. It was a pretty long segment with Zeb Colter and Del Rio doing most of the talking. Actually, they did all the talking. Jack Swagger only said like 2 lines at the end. That's it. Anyways, to sum it up, pretty much Zeb Colter talked about people going into the country illegally, and that Del Rio's encouraging people to chase the American dream, and when they try and do that, they go into the country illegally, blah blah blah, and once they're there and like don't achieve the dream or whatever, they forget to leave the country and blah blah blah. Anyways, in the end, Del Rio's like, okay, you know, I said a couple weeks ago I don't like bullies, and he challenges Jack Swagger to do something about it, but Jack Swagger says, we will see you at WrestleMania, we the people, and then he leaves the ring. That was my attempt at summing up the segment, because if I were to talk about the entire segment, this review would be too long. And then after the commercial break, they show on a video from the WWE app where The Miz is on the stage after the whole Miz TV segment. Zeb Colter comes up to him, says he doesn't like the way that The Miz was biased during the show, and then Jack Swagger attacks the Miz from behind. And then it's Antonio Cesaro versus Randy Orton one-on-one. Randy won the matchup when Antonio Cesaro went for what looked to be a top rope uppercut. Randy caught Antonio Cesaro in midair with an RKO for the victory. After that, Kane and Daniel Bryan were backstage. Daniel Bryan telling Kane, Randy's impressive, right? Kane is like, okay. And then Daniel Bryan said, you know, we should start getting along, blah, blah, blah. And apparently they have a match with the PrimeTime Players. So Daniel Bryan says, just let me take care of it. You stay in the corner because I could beat them both, you know, on my own, blindfolded even. And then Kane says he can beat them on his own, and for Daniel Bryan to stay in the corner because Kane can beat them with one arm tied behind his back. So then Vicky and Brad Maddox come up to them, and they announce that they will indeed be facing off against our PrimeTime Players. And on top of that, Daniel Bryan will be blindfolded, and Kane will have one arm tied behind his back. Sheamus then comes out in a suit, and the ring has like a red carpet on it. Anyways, he's there to talk about the Oscars, and he talks about how he's upset they didn't talk about Wade Barrett in his new movie. He shows a trailer where you barely see Barrett. And then he shows another trailer where you actually see Barrett, but he's in the background and he doesn't say anything. And then he pauses it on that scene and makes fun of Barrett and how he doesn't say anything in the movie and blah, blah, blah. And then Wade Barrett comes out, tells Sheamus that he's jealous, that while Wade Barrett will be at the Dead Man Down premiere tomorrow, Sheamus is going to return that suit he's wearing, and he's gonna be in the pub. Sheamus says, yeah, that's exactly what he's gonna do, but then he also says, make sure to show the camera your good side, but then he says, you know, it's hard to show them your good side with that nose of yours. So Wade Barrett laughs a bit, but then he goes for a clothesline on Sheamus. Sheamus ducks, Sheamus goes for the bro kick, but Wade Barrett gets out of the ring before he gets hit. And then R-Truth faced off against Cody Rhodes with Damien Sandow commentary. R-Truth won with the little Jimmy. After the match, Damien Sandow got out of the commentary table, went inside the ring to attack R-Truth, but was unsuccessful, and R-Truth took him out. They then showed one of the Zeb Colter videos that's on his YouTube channel. Afterwards, Daniel Bryan and Kane fought the PrimeTime Players, with Daniel Bryan having a bag over his head, I guess that's the blindfold, and Kane having his arm tied behind his back. Titus O'Neil and Darren Young were messing with Daniel Bryan in the beginning since, you know, you couldn't see them. At some point, actually outside the ring, Daniel Bryan fell outside, and Kane, I guess, was helping Daniel Bryan get up. Daniel Bryan thought it was like Titus or Darren Young, so he punched him in the face. Then he got back in the ring and actually slipped going into the ring. Anyways, eventually he tags in Kane. Kane starts beating up Titus and Darren Young, and then eventually hits the chokeslam on Darren Young with one hand, or one arm, and gets the victory for the team. So afterwards, Daniel Bryan gets his blindfold taken off, and that's pretty much it. The Shield then come out to talk about every single one, you know, every single person they've taken out, or the matches they've won, how they beat at TLC Team Hell No and Ryback, and then they beat the superhero team of Sheamus, Ryback, and John Cena, and then Jericho, Ryback, and Sheamus. And then Seth Rollins says, is there anybody else, or is there no one else? And then Sheamus' music hits, he comes out. He's on the stage and challenges to come, you know, to the stage and fight him. So they go out of the ring, but Seth Rollins is still in the ring. So then Randy goes in the ring from behind. He actually gets in the ring from the crowd. And then RKO's Seth Rollins, gets out of the ring, goes back in the crowd. And then Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose go back in the ring to check up on Seth Rollins. After that segment, it was time for The Miz versus Jack Swagger. Swagger wins with the Patriot Lock after The Miz got his legs stuck in the ropes. So Swagger worked a little bit more on the legs and then locked on the Patriot Lock. So The Miz tapped out and Swagger wins. Josh Matthews is in backstage with John Cena, and it's pretty much John Cena's time to hype up the main event match. And pretty much, to sum it up, John Cena says to anybody that believes in the words hustle, loyalty, and respect, that he's going to show the world tonight that it's their time. And then on commentary, they actually talk about The Undertaker's return at the live event. And then CM Punk and John Cena come out for the main event. And they had an awesome matchup. Really, really awesome match. They both hit their finishers. Cena hit the AA. CM Punk hit the GTS. John Cena kicked out. CM Punk kicked out. CM Punk put on the Anaconda Vice. John Cena put on the STF, I think, twice. And also CM Punk brought back the pile driver. That was freaking awesome. And towards the end, CM Punk went for the top rope elbow, but missed it. And then John Cena hit a Hurricane Rana on CM Punk, followed by another Attitude Adjustment. Goes for the cover, wins the matchup. And so he's going on to WrestleMania to face off against The Rock one-on-one. So, overall, what did I think about the show? I enjoyed it. Really did. I mean, yeah, Taker didn't return, but we had Brock Lesnar and Triple H's return. And that last matchup, you know, CM Punk versus John Cena was freaking awesome. A highlight of the night definitely is the whole matchup itself, CM Punk versus John Cena. And CM Punk actually bringing back the pile driver. That was pretty cool. And John Cena, of course, kicked out the pile driver. And if I had to give it a rating for the show, I would give it an 8 on 10. I thought tonight's show was pretty solid. You know, especially that main event. That main event really increased that rating. And by the way, why do they keep having Randy versus Antonio Cesaro? It seems like, I don't know, they have like Randy versus Antonio Cesaro like every week or every other week. But, you know, Randy versus Antonio Cesaro was, you know, decent. I like the ending of the matchup too, the RKO in midair. But anyways, that is pretty much it for my review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, you can click that like button. I'd really appreciate it. With that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.